All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell. It's me, Lady Ada. With me is Mr. Lady Ada, and we're here again, back in the saddle, as it were, in this rodeo that we call Show and Tell.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of people from around the community that are excited and waiting in the wings to show off their projects. Some of them might even be gigantic eyes, apps, machine learning demos, clocks, and more. So let's get right to it. We're here for an hour. Come on by. We'll be here till about 8 o'clock or 7:55. Let's start off with Sean Heimel.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
How's it going?
Hello.
Good to
Doing
see you.
well. Yeah,
Hello.
good to see you again. All right. So I am working on a machine learning demo. I think I've been working on for the past couple of months here. I've got a Super Nintendo controller, third party, of course. I'm not busting into my real ones, and a Super Nintendo Classic.
Cute.
On the controller, I've put this MEMS mic. You probably recognize these.
Yeah.
And a featherboard that is the STM32F405.
Yes.
Good. Which is a great little board. I love this thing. And I've trained it to recognize the famous phrase Hadouken. I've got Street Fighter behind me. I've got it paused right now. And the idea is that I don't have to perform the combo on the controller anymore. I can just shout it. All right, let's see if this works. All right, so I can move around, do my character. Oh, he has false positives. Hadouken! Hadouken!
Great.
It's a little slow, and there's some false positives, so it needs some work, but it's working. It's decently working. You can see the false positives behind me.
Yeah.
It might be hearing the sound whenever he says it.
That's right.
And then it's just feeding back over and over.
Oh my God, you made Skynet, but it's only for Street Fighter.
Exactly.
All right,
So,
cool. You're going to
here
do
we
a
go.
guide about this?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to do a tutorial on this?
Yes. So I've got getting started with, in fact, let me kill this so you don't hear that sound anymore. I've got a getting started with TensorFlow Lite that's up on DigiKey's YouTube page. And I'm working on a series of tutorials, and I'm keeping all of this code together on my GitHub, on a GitHub repo that's github.com/seanhemel/custom-wake-word. And the idea is there'll be a number of tools in there to help people train their own wake words. So instead of Hadouken, I'm also working with some other makers to do like Dracaris or Archimedes, which is, you're probably familiar with Ajay and Alex Glow, and they're I'm helping them create some wake words for their bots as well. But
Awesome.
if you want to get started with TensorFlow Lite on microcontrollers, check out my my YouTube video on DigiKey.
Awesome.
Right on. That's the first thing everyone wants to do. They want to train their own wake word because that's what personalizes AI and machine learning. It's like, well,
And it's not easy.
Yeah, you just don't want to say hello or, hey, Google or Siri and all that. They want to have their own words. That's a good tutorial. Plus, I think once these personal robot friends that we see out there, like as they continue to happen, everyone's going to have their own, it's part of like training your Tamagotchi or something. It's like you make your physical robot and then you train it to listen for its name.
That's part of the point of how TensorFlow works. You take a model and you can customize it a little bit to optimize it for your use case. It can like retrain as well. It's cool stuff.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Next up,
Trevor.
One of our lead iOS engineers at Adafruit. Trevor, what are you doing this week?
All right. So this week I made an election day app. Well, I called it the election day app. Basically, it's an app that counts down until the election of 2020. Let me show you it real quick. Let's see. There we go. Okie dokie. All right. Here we are. So I just need to back out really quickly. And there we are. All right. Cool. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So
82 days. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did it. So in the center, you see a counter, a time counter. It shows you the time counting down till the election. Right above it, there's a banner that counts on the days, and below it, there's the presidential candidates as of today. I'm using Ballotpedia, the API, to get that information from there to get the candidates from there. Also, if I hit the center where it says election tools, deadlines, and rules, it'll take me to vote.org, and being that the app traces where I am, it will basically show you the deadlines, dates, and rules for wherever you're at. So you can be like in California or anywhere in the U.S., and it will automatically sync you straight to your designated location.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Nice
it.
work.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, this is part of our exploration of all the different new things that Apple's doing with iOS development. So you'll see more experiments like this from us at Adafruit. We try to make them like something timely that's interesting in the news. You know, a lot of people are talking about voting and more. You have location-based stuff. So thanks so much, Trevor, and come back next week. I guess this will be kind of the completion of this project. You've been doing like a 1 to 2 week project. So
yeah, so like this was made with Swift UI, which is pretty cool. It's very easy to learn and get into. So next week I'll make it like very Swift UI, but I'll make it like visually stimulating. It'll be cool.
Right on. And the simulator that you use, theoretically, you'll also be able to show it on a watch or another platform, because that's the whole point of this, is to be able to write once and run everywhere.
Yeah, you can show it on your watch. It can also be applied to like Mac apps and basically any iOS, any Apple product.
Yeah.
So even like Apple TV.
Okay. Cool. Right on.
All right.
Okay, next up, let's go to
Phil B.
Phil B, Paint Your Dragon. What is going on? I saw some previews on the tweets, and I know this is exciting.
I got some big googly eyes, some dragon googly eyes at Joanne.
Those are pretty good.
So that's not really what I got here, but I have something like same size on my desk with a document camera. I have their hand for scale. These are 3-inch round displays. They just showed up today, and so I had to get distracted from my work.
A gigantic watch. Like, what would this be used for? Even?
See if the eyes work. Oh, it should be. It's mirroring. It should have distinct right left here, and it's not going to work, is it? No, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, I've been fascinated by all these interesting displays that you can get from China. They're made for. So some of them are for VR headsets, or they might be like car instruments or fancy thermostats. I don't know, but these keep popping up, and I'm intrigued by them, and so I pick up some interesting ones. This particular one, it's 2 distinct displays. There's a separate right and left, and then it has a HDMI splitter, and then it goes off to a Raspberry Pi driving the show, and this has become, I don't know why, kind of a side project of mine, just playing with these interesting new displays. I don't know if you saw the bar displays that I brought to John's show and tell a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen similar ones, but yeah, it's different. So that those two show up as, oh my God. So those two show up as one screen split in half?
Yeah, it's 1060 by 800 pixels.
Okay.
I got a big round one, 5-inch round display, 1080. And a while back, I got some little round ones that could, go inside something.
It's hard to not purchase round displays. I mean, round displays are so cool.
Yeah, it's become a little addiction. But anyway, these aren't plug and play on the Raspberry Pi. Like a couple of them, you just hook up HDMI and magic, it works.
Yeah.
Some of them, you have to get in there and fiddle these fiddly settings. And I figured out how to do it, and I'm going to put a guide together, maybe mostly for my own reference, on what kind of hoops you have to jump through to get some of these strange displays working on Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, you might have to you actually put in like the HDMI timings and
all the timings have to go in there. And where do you find the timing in there, right?
All right. Well, so this looks like fun, and you can have these guys watching you while you do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. So anyway, that's just something I've been a little side quest, and I'll do a guide on weird displays on Raspberry Pi soon.
I think they'll be popular. Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome work.
All right. Thank you so much, Phoebe.
Thank you, Phoebe.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
Hello.
On.
So let's see. I've been working with resin a lot lately. It's just been such a great temperature in California here. And I just launched a tutorial today, which was it's like a little ocean beach resin, and I had a little bit left over in the cups when I was pouring that. So I just poured it into a jewelry mold, and I made this really pretty little ocean necklace, which I did a wire wrap on for the setting, which is really fun. I've been playing with wire wrapping lately. I want to mess around with that a little bit more. But of course, then I had to make it light up because that's what I do. So I added a microcontroller and a couple of lights, and now it's got a really pretty.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty color shifting lights inside. I actually was just digging around in the back of my drawer and cleaning things out, and I used a Flora, which I haven't seen a light in quite some time, but it was in the back of my drawer. I modded it so that I also added a charger, a little battery charger, so that it's in there, and it has a NeoPixel jewel that is providing the light, so it is USB chargeable as well. And it's about the thinnest one I've made. I've made a lot of LED necklaces, and most of them, they're just chunky, right? Like, because you got to fit all those electronics in, so they end up being almost like an inch thick. But I cut off a lot of like JST connectors. I did everything I could to make it as skinny as possible. And this one is actually, it's almost like a normal size pendant, which is super cool. And then also USB chargeable. So it's pretty exciting.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. And I've been having fun with this. I wanna play with more necklaces. This is running Arduino, of course, because a floor is not going to run Circuit Playground. But I want to play with more necklaces. It's just so much fun, and they're just like they're great gifts to give to people, and I have a lot of fun wearing them, even though there's no place to wear them lately. You can at least dress yourself up with your mask a little bit. So.
It's cute. All right, cool. There'll be a guide for that soon, I'm sure. We got a couple necklace ideas swimming around, and there's never been a better time to have statement necklaces, because if you're going to be on Zoom meetings and parties, you have to wear something really big for it to be visible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, nice work, Erin. I love how you're taking resin to the next level.
It's been fun.
All right, thank you, Erin, and everyone check out Erin's amazing guide on learn.afu.com. It's really beautiful. It like looks like a ghost is in the resin. It's cool.
Yeah, we'll have the video on Ask an Engineer.
That's right. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Aaron.
All right, stay cool.
All right, next up, Melissa. How's it going, Melissa?
Good. I wanted to. I was going through my old test equipment, and I found this Radio Shack Logic probe here, and I tried it, and it is working. And I wanted to kind of show you how it works on here. Let me just change cameras here. Let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So I'm gonna hook the ground up to ground, and I hadn't used it with 3 volts before, but I have it running on the 3-volt rail of the Raspberry Pi, and so I just hooked it. I have it in CMOS in normal mode, and so you can go and kind of touch different pins, and it'll actually make a sound and show whether it's high or low. So like if I were to touch the 3-volt pin here, it goes and shows high, and it makes a little high-pitched beep. So you can kind of go around and touch the different probes.
It's close. This is like the before logic analyzer, before oscilloscopes were common. This was what people could have, because it was inexpensive, and you could put it in your toolbox, and you could, things didn't have tons of pins, so you could actually poke each one.
Exactly.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you still have that. It's
yeah.
You never know. Could come in handy.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice throwback thing.
It's a cool project.
All right. Thank you so much. And everyone, don't forget, you can always bring on retro electronic stuff. I keep waiting for a week when we don't have a ton of show and tell stuff, because we have a lot of stuff here.
There's so much retro stuff.
There's always, we always have a full house. But bring that stuff in, because we can all learn a lot from a lot of the past design decisions, or we can tell people, look how bad we had it back then. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much.
Cool. Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Non Pedro. What? Sorry, JP just slipped in there. Non Pedro.
JP's a subliminal message.
The evil mustache.
Hey guys, oh man, just distracted by the eyes. You can see them in the background here. Keep thinking Mickey ears. Okay, so this week's project is this neon LED style matrix sign that's all Lego compatible. So Jeff and Fumi Guy on Discord had a really good discussion on making a bunch of these. Like, oh, hey, Phil and Lamar wanted this like a year ago for all the Halloween projects, and hey, we're in August, so we're in quarantine. How about we make a busy sign? So the cool thing about this being Lego compatible is of all the Lego projects we've done, we haven't made one yet that has like a bunch of mounts and things for like all of our feather boards. So this was my main focus on this, was making a bunch of like the studs and the tubes so we can make a bunch of like, modular compatible, feather type connections. So not just the feather, but in the components, but things like the slide switch. So you have like a little Lego compatible one here. So it's sort of like a breadboard, but like a like a Lego base sort of one. So you can like play with like a lot of modular things. I had to lay things out. So you can draw any shapes with these, or of course the letters. Of course you have a little Lego Adabot if you guys want to check out the many Lego projects we have on the Learn system. So you can check those out. And yeah, it's just a bunch of Lego compatible parts. And the main focus obviously is the sign.
Yeah, we're noticing like whenever we before, of course, everything's closed now, but before everything closed in New York, like almost every store had like a neon sign, or they would use this kind of LED strip to make a fake neon sign.
Yeah.
They're very popular for Instagramming.
Yeah, before the pauses in New York, when people could gather closely indoors, there was a lot of like Instagram places where people would go, and it was like super great. You would touch everything, and everyone was packed in small places.
You would lick stuff.
So we're not doing that right now. But one of the more popular things is you go in there and you take selfies, and there was a lot of like neon lettering, but neon's really expensive, so we saw a lot of this. So when we go out now, there's a lot of places that are reopening, and they've reconfigured their business, and so they've moved that sign towards the outside. So if you look at our Adafruit Chronicles photos, you'll see like there's a lot of like fun, clever things. It's like, why is that sign like that? It's like, oh, that used to be an Instagram like influencer hangout thing. So anyways, you'll see more of this out in the world. And thanks for making it.
What's cool about the sign is that, like, if you're, trying to keep your kids from coming in the room, they'll be distracted by the sign. If you're not going to read the sign, right?
Exactly.
They're going to be distracted by how blurry the sign is. Maybe you'll get like 5 more minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Other way around too, as well. So when my kid's like in, his teacher, meeting, we can like, what's going on.
All right.
Yeah. So full hour 3D Hangouts. We talk about all of the open designs for all this. You can grab all these. They're all just patterns. You can check out the timeline on the modeling of all this and build your own custom components.
We will show this video and more. We have some catch up this week, so there'll be a bunch of videos from y'all on Asking Engineer.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Cool. Thank you, folks.
You.
All right. Next up. This time it's going to be JP.
For real, JP.
That was a JP preview.
Staying this time. Awesome.
Yay.
So I actually have a couple things to show. One of them, I can't remember if I showed it on here or not before, but I'm going to switch to this camera. This is a, I'll do a screen share, in fact. This is a Raspberry Pi, here we go, high quality camera with the wide lens on it. And so I wanted to have a mobile cam that I could move around places in the shop, and I didn't have that. So this is coming out HDMI, and that's going into a HDMI to USB conversion box. And I actually just have it running off of a battery pack there, a little USB battery pack that
nice.
for hours. And it sort of acts like a UPS. I can charge that without unplugging, so it allows me to kind of keep it going all the time. And so one of the things I wanted to show is this week's project that I'm working on. I'll be showing this on the live stream tomorrow, workshop live stream. And this is a Metro matrix clock that uses a Metro M4 airlift with our RGB matrix backpack. Sorry, my focus is manual, and I'm not refocusing it, so I'll stay out here. And this is using the Wi-Fi on the Metro M4 airlift to go out to Adafruit.io and look up the proper time every hour. So it kind of keeps track of it on its own, and then it on boot up it checks the time, and then every hour it just double checks that it's still got it accurately. And I'm also using some of our LED plastic here to do the nice diffusion of those LEDs. And I've also got it checking for certain hours. So between essentially 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 in the evening, it's this greenish yellow, and then it goes to red for the evening hours. And that's kind of the minimal indication of what your AM PM is. And I've also got something in the settings for turning off the blink, just because it's nice there to let you know that it's working, and you know, you can get a feel for what a second is. But after a while, I just like it to be calm and not distract me, so I don't want it changing on me. So it just is still.
All right, it's a nice big upgrade
Yeah.
to your 7 segment there. So this is
Yeah, I
more
have quite a
readable.
few clocks happening, but this one's now clearly my favorite. And one of the things I'll be showing when I talk about this in detail and in the guide is things to do with the display, the matrix display label class that allows us to do these type of text, how to keep things aligned. I've gone in and done a custom update to a typeface so that we get kerning just the way we want, and this actually all fits when we get a full we get the 4th digit on there. So there's a lot of little details that go into making something like this look nice, and hopefully it'll be a leaping off point for people who want to design their own and do their own typefaces, or find ones online to work with.
Cool.
Good stuff, JP. You know, one thing I was thinking about with clocks that have the blinking things, I'm in the same boat. Like, it's cool, and then I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I like the utility sometimes of seconds counting up. Maybe we could talk about making some type of upgrade where, like, instead of it just being dot set flash, maybe it's filling up. And that way, like, you know, we all have video conferences now, and you have to like join. You don't want to be there a minute early. You want to be there like 15 seconds early, just in case.
Maybe the border fills in.
Yeah, maybe we could start enhancing clocks. We all can make any type of clock we want now, because Circuit Python, and we have all these cool displays. Maybe even the dots could fill up, or there could be like a ticker along the bottom. But that might be like a useful thing. And then you could also do something like have a 24 or 12-hour thing decreasing over time, so it's glanceable. Anyways,
I like that idea. Yeah.
There's always. By the way, in New York, Warren and I were just looking at this article. So like, retail is going through some struggles, and I've been a New Yorker on and off for a few decades. There's this one store that's always been around, and I don't understand how it's possible. The Swatch store on Broadway, and they had internet time, and no matter,
time they called it. I've always been
no matter what has happened, so the Swatch store burnt down. There was a recession. There was 9/11. This Swatch store just grows back, so it's still there. But I was thinking there's other ways to measure time too, and maybe we can.
Yeah, it's like 4,976 right now.
Yeah,
that's Swatch time, isn't it?
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thanks, JP.
Excellent.
We'll do some cool clock. We have some clock ideas.
And tune into JP's show Next Quadrant on Thursday. .7 now. Making up my own. All right, thanks so much, JP.
Thanks, JP. Looking good.
Okay, next up, Scott, what is going on this week?
Hello. I've been working on the ESP32S2 Wi-Fi, as you know.
Yeah.
And I forget where I was last week, but I've been making progress, and I wanted to show it off. So I'm just gonna. I got into the REPL here just so you couldn't see the previous run of my sample code. So I'm going to hit Control-D and show it off here.
Ooh, Wi-Fi? Okay.
See the Wi-Fi networks?
The Wi-Fi? Right.
My IP.
Oh, it's pinging back in time.
Yeah, it's so fast it's negative. There may be bugs, obviously.
Look at the Google DNS. It's like, we know that you're expecting to ping us, so we'll just
right?
Go back to you. Okay.
Uh-oh.
And
there we go.
it connects the internet.
Yeah, so this just loaded an over HTTP, a test web page thing, and printed it out. It said, if you can read this, it's working. I don't know how long it actually took there, but I don't think the timeout's working yet. So I definitely gave it as much time as it needed. But excited to have that running, and I'm going to be working on SSL tomorrow, because I don't think it's going to be too much more work. And check my stream out on Friday to see the latest and greatest of this. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then
we're coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This week I've been making good progress.
Yeah. We also have more pixel support, I think.
Yeah. Lucian added NeoPixel support, which has been great. I just switched this to be full build, so I think there might be some other things we've picked up as well. So making lots of progress, but a huge warning that I am having to make the space for the firmware bigger, and so people's file systems will be obliterated when they get all this new stuff. So just a heads up for folks that is still changing as we add more. I'm going to have to talk with TAC about exactly what the layout we're going to go with for kind of our final stuff.
Okay.
All right. And for folks who have been tuning into this Circuit Python story for the last few years, first off, congratulations, Scott and the entire Circuit Python team. There is a feature story of Python on hardware on the current volume of Make volume 74. We'll talk about this on Ask an Engineer. But congrats, Scott. The thing that we've been doing together for all this time, it's now on the, we are what we celebrate. I always said with covers of magazines, it really does matter. Magazines will change what it means to be a magazine over time. But it's really neat. Python on hardware. It's one of the things that you've been dedicating your time to for as long as I've known you. And here we are.
I think the anniversary actually of the email, the fateful email I got from you is actually the 18th. So on the 18th, it'll be 4 years of working together on Python on hardware stuff.
The birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tune in and Ask Engineer. We're going to show this. And then, of course, everyone should subscribe to the Python on Hardware newsletter because we're like 5 subscribers away from 8,000.
Yes.
So please do that. You can do that.
No,
you can do that on Adafruit Daily and join in. It's an excellent time to start doing electronics because you get all the benefits of Python.
And you'll get preview updates about ESP32S2 support.
The 32S2 is going to be what we all use. It's a powerful, awesome chip. So now's a good time to jump in.
Yeah, it's just going to get better.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. Next up, Liz.
Hey, Liz.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I can't hear you. There you are.
Hello.
Hey. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick. If it lets me. It's actually not showing my video. Sorry. So while I'm trying to get to come up, behind me, there's a new shelf that I built. And here we go. And it's a shelf for the xylophone and all sorts of synthy things. So it's made out of plywood, and I'd never actually made furniture before. So it was kind of experience, but made it through. I'm excited to maybe do some more woodworking things. And then the other thing on there, because I'm approaching my 30s and being into music and electronics, you have to start getting into synths. So I 3D printed and designed up a little cable rack that fits onto the shelf, and it prints no supports, so you can have all your cables on there. And I'll be throwing that up on Thingiverse for people too if they're interested. So just some things I've been working on this week. A little bit different than normal.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Middle Age Synth Collector magazine.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. It exists.
I guess somewhat related, Liz, you're a speaker at the Maker Faire Miami.
Yes.
I think I saw a tweet fly by. Is that one of your upcoming virtual events that you're doing?
Yes, Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm giving a talk actually on the xylophone, which is still working nicely. And so I'm going to be talking about that whole project, doing like a really deep dive. And so that'll be fun. And I believe John Park is also talking too.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Right on. Well, feel free to drop a link in the chat, and if you want, drop one of us an email and we can get a blog post so folks can tune into that.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
If folks are missing Maker Fairs, don't worry. You can go virtual.
Yeah, and the folks are
and you have to sit in the sun, and you can get cocoa prayer.
Exactly. I love all these virtual events. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Liz.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can go to all of them.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Liz. More musical treats coming soon.
All right, next up.
Joey.
Hello, Joey. How are you?
Howdy. Doing well, y'all.
Good to see you.
Good to see y'all too. So I have this. I was really excited about this new color e-ink technology that's out there. So I picked up one of these new color e-ink screens.
Yeah. I'm playing around with one too.
Yeah, they're fun. They're really fun. The refresh is a little slow, but for things that don't update that often, like this is a selfie of the Earth.
Yeah.
You can kind of see South America there in darkness and sunset approaching New York. Yeah, they work really well. I really like the
form of clock.
Totally. I'm going to pull off my little bezel here because to show off what's going on inside. So yeah, you need a lot of RAM, it feels like, to kind of store the 7-color image. So this is using a Raspberry Pi over here. And one of the cool things is I've got a feather over here to make it battery powered and y'all's new mini boost. So so Featherwing is giving me the higher powered either USB or battery power, boosting it up to the Pi, and then turning it off as soon as the Pi shuts down so it can just kind of sleep for most of the hour.
Oh, nice.
So so yeah, I haven't run it on battery power for a significant amount of time, but I like the idea that it can kind of just, sit there on a shelf, and, the feather will keep the battery topped off. And yeah, just kind of show me what the Earth looks like from the sky in real time all day long.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we have some experiments we're going to do. The multicolor price tag stuff for stores is neat because you can have like the green, organic, or not. You can have barcodes. You can change it over time. So we have some ideas. What are we going to do with these 7 colors?
Yeah.
What can we?
I'm trying to get the raw display too, so we can make like Raspberry Pi hats or whatever, so you can just plug and play.
Totally, yeah. I just think it's fun because like they're designed for price tags, but you can do so many other fun things with them. Like, there's like a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Well, good to see you, Joey.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Joey.
Bye-bye. All right. Next up, we're going to go to Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello,
Thanks
Jeff.
for coming by.
What you doing?
Hello. How are you guys tonight?
Good.
So a thing I've been working on for the last couple of weeks is the Sharp e-ink display support for CircuitPython. And so I've got that pull request in, and right here I'm showing the Black Lives Matter Say Their Names demo, which is one of the ones that I put together for it. And yeah, these are nice little displays, very clearly readable in a variety of conditions. And although they're supposed to need 5 volts, it turns out they will run for me from a lithium-ion sample size of 1. So that was interesting to find out just before this demo. So I hope that that's going to, well, that pull request is in, and so it will be in CircuitPython soon, you hope. And so, yeah, check these out. We're going to have...
They're coming soon in the shop. We'll have them soon, next day or two.
And we'll update the guides and stuff like that to show you how to use them.
Yeah, these have a glorious 400 by 240 pixels.
Yeah, the pixels here are big because I'm scaling up the font by a factor of 6.
Yeah.
Just because to get it going a little quicker. But yeah, I should have done a high resolution font with nice little, serifs and everything to show it off better.
That's cool. You can do it for next time.
Yeah, I can.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for pulling that off.
All right. Thank you so much. Next up, we're going to go to Lolly at Tinkering Tech.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm excited to show you today a project I've been working on for quite a while. It's actually inspired by the Feather NRF 52840. So I essentially made another version of that. This time it has a 128 by 32 OLED. It also has USB Type-C. I also added a on-off switch to it as well, as you can see here. So it's called the Scout Makes Azul. It was actually just this week put on circuitpython.org. So thanks, Maker Melissa, for pushing that on the website.
Welcome to the family.
It's awesome. You guys are doing some amazing stuff with CircuitPython. And I think I've been watching you guys for years with the whole journey. You just mentioned to Scott as well. I think it's just the future of where embedded is going and just making things easy for people to learn programming, right? So just a little bit about the name, Scout Makes Azul. My daughter's name is Scout. She's only 2, but I wanted to start a line of electronics that inspires kids to build stuff. That's essentially where it came from. So I'm working on a line of different kits. I plan to do a crowd supply sometime very soon in the next few months. So I've been working on that. So keep a lookout as I'll keep coming on the show to show all the different projects that I've been building. So I've been head down trying to work on that. So yeah, that's a little bit about this board. I also did different versions of them, reflowed them on my toaster oven, threw away quite a few of these boards because these modules can be a bit of a pain in the butt to reflow and get the BGA right and not have shorts. But I did different versions of them, yellow, green, and blue.
Take photos of all this, by the way. Like, you follow the Adafruit story. Like we've taken like the evolutionary story of a lot of our boards, and Feather was one of those things where we kept working on Shield, and we had other things, and then Lady Ada came up with this Feather form factor, and we wanted to have an ecosystem where anyone can make something. And then with CircuitPython, the software side of it, just like you mentioned, we thought that scripting languages for hardware was going to be a thing. So it's really neat to see you building something for now the next generation of engineers. Your daughter, who's
I
going
like how you're like you have to take over the business. It's named after you.
Yeah, I know, right? Building it for you.
Like a little bit of pressure
Big
there.
shoes
But
to
that's
fill.
cool.
Pressure. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's like you say. It's just I think that's where it's at. Like the CircuitPython is amazing. You guys are doing some good work. So.
And we really did. And this is what Kenny came up with. Like, we said code plus community is how we describe CircuitPython. And I really think like not only do you get your board added to this big collection of boards, but you're added to a big community of people that want to not only make cool hardware and cool software, but do good in our own ways. And so thanks for being part of this.
No problem. Thanks for what you do. And I'm on Discord as well, so I follow the chats on there. Dan Halbert has been very helpful. I've asked him, he's helped me out with a few problems here and there. Your tutorial's amazing. So the pull request I submitted, I think Cadney wrote that. That was very smooth. So just feedback on that was very good.
Cool.
And everyone was just super responsive. Like you talk about the community. So the community working on this stuff, you just make it easy, right? So that's very important to have an easy process, so you inspire more people to do stuff without spending time, debugging and having problems getting things submitted. So
yeah, you have the first 5-minute good experience, and then if you want to spend years on like, let's bring Wi-Fi to this new chip, you can do that too. It's just
I'm watching very closely on what Scott's working on with the ESP32S.
Yeah.
I think I want to do a version of that board. I know there are quite a few folks in the community following along as well. So I'm keeping an eye on stuff. And like you said, the out-of-box experience, that's one of the things I want to focus on for what I'm building. I worked for TI for quite a few years. So, it was always about the out-of-box experience, which is always great. But anyway, I'm focusing on that. So just a little plug, I actually got laid off from my job doing this COVID thing. So if anyone out there is interested in hiring an EE with some Maker experience, do let me know.
All right, two things. Put your skills on the jobs board, jobs.adafruit.com.
Right. It's free.
It's why we made it. We thought about it back at the last recession. Like, what can we do for everyone? And, we didn't get to building the jobs board till later. So put your skills up there because people are looking for folks, because we get inquiries. Hey, do you know someone who does the following? We're like, please post up the job offering. But then if people post their skills, there's usually companies looking right away. And also, as you do your crowd supply, drop me a note, PT Adafruit or the team, and we'll make sure we get the word out on our site so folks,
I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. And again, just DM me on Instagram if you want to find me. It's Tinkering Tech. If anyone out there is interested in hiring any with some Maker experience, then I'll definitely check out jobs board and post on there as well.
Yeah. If someone's watching who wants to email Lady Ada and say, I have this idea for a feather, will you build it for me? The answer is no, we can't, because we're working on other stuff. But Tinkering Tech can.
They can have it too.
And by the way, kudos to you guys. I know you guys didn't lay off anybody during this COVID thing. And TI being a Fortune 500 company was laying off people, and it's a tough time. But you guys hunkered down and made it happen. I know it was difficult, right? But
it's really hard. We appreciate all the orders. That's been helping us. But a lot of people are going to be able to decide for themselves, like, what can companies do when things happen, like a crisis. A lot of people are going to decide when this goes away, when things are normal again, where do you want to work? What can you do? How did companies treat their employees? We're doing everything we can. There's a lot of financial pressures on other companies, including ours. Yeah. So I think it's one of those times where Bruce Sterling told me this. I was IMing with him back in like March, and he said, crisis doesn't change people, just reveals. And I think the same thing goes for companies. Nothing's really changed. It just got revealed.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the things.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. So, okay.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. I'll be back later. Take care.
See you on the Discords.
Okay. Sweet.
All right, Mark, play us out.
Okay, Mark.
Hi. Well, this week it's just a prototype that I literally finished as the show was starting. So I've been wanting to
Okay,
play with
great.
3D lithophanes. I can never say that. And let me see if I can actually reduce.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, so it's right now it's just got a circuit playground behind it with the NeoPixels on. I just got a box from DigiKey today with some itsy bitsies in. So I'm gonna try to wire it up. And this is only one that's, let me bring this back up. This is one that's only at half size. So I've been working on a full size one that has a much larger picture than to go in. And then the eventual plan is to try to do a 360 lamp, specifically for my brother and his wife for their anniversary. I was going to try to do some with some of their wedding pictures, which will then hopefully with the MP3 support and CircuitPython be able to play their first dance song.
Oh, wow. That sounds cool. All right, come back as you build that project, because that's a great CircuitPython project. And we have built-in MP3 support now. If you're using an itsy bitsy M4, you can just drop an MP3 and you don't even need a WAV file, so you can use the onboard storage.
Yeah, that's the hope. I was doing some research. Katney helped me yesterday just to confirm with what I found on your site was going to do what I needed. So yeah, I can't wait to, I think tonight I'm going to start printing this full size to just make sure it works.
Okay, good luck.
That's cool. It's like a very modern audio greeting cards. Remember that that was a thing for a while.
Yeah.
You get a greeting card and there was like a little song, and then eventually you can kind of record something.
Yeah.
And then everyone collectively decided as society, we don't want these.
Well, they were kind of,
Yeah.
they're kind of trash.
It was like
They just get thrown out. That's the
yeah.
problem.
And then for a while people would email a online greeting card, and that kind of went away too. So I think the next thing might be like heirloom beautiful sculptures that have a moment of time, something like this.
A lot less passive aggressive than an e-bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I
right.
love seeing that litho
Thank you
thing.
so much,
That
Mark.
looked great.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, that's
Okay,
our
cool.
show and tell. Good to be back. Thank you everyone for showing up here. Cool projects, interesting stories on how and
Great
why people
stuff.
are making things.
I missed y'all.
And a theme about sharing. A lot of these projects people are making for others, or they're developing entire electronics companies for their kids.
Yes.
So the glue that brings us together, sometimes it's hardware, like
Yeah.
a feather format, sometimes it's software like CircuitPython, but
CircuitPython.
or sometimes we all make stuff because we want to make music, which is another form of this art called programming. So
Okay.
we'll see
we're back.
everybody next week. Yeah.
We have like an hour plus show coming up next.
Ask an Engineer starts in a few
Go
minutes.
get a snack, get some hummus, and then come right back at 8 p.m. Eastern for Ask an Engineer.
Yeah, actually, I have one little show and tell thing, and it's just.
Oh, do you want me to grab
hand me
the-
the baseball card too, and the other thing. So here's my quick show and tells. This is so we get some stuff in the mail, and I got this shirt. So I ordered a Mr. Zip postal
Zip.
shirt because I'm like, well, we give the post office in exchange for them mailing all of our packages.
We ship a
money.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, probably in the millions. And so I bought a shirt though because I'm just like, well, maybe I can help the post office because they're in the news a lot. But in my postal mail, I got a Dr. Fauci baseball card. This is the only baseball card I own. Got that, and then Leeborg was making. I collect electronic pins, so this is a 555 timer pin, and then these are the NeoPixely like stickers. This is a hologram sticker. So that came in the mail.
Pin it on the back, handy.
And then I think on Ask an Engineer, I'll talk about the Surface COVID test that we just did. Good news, Adafruit is COVID free.
I am too.
And so is Lady Ada. She got her COVID test on
That's fast.
Sunday. Got the results in 3 days. But anyways, that's some things that came in our mailbag here that just happened to be at the desk. So that's my mini show and tell.
All right.
All right. We'll see
Sweet.
everybody next week. Thank you so much.
See you in 15 minutes.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming by.